All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Again, you can always check out our blog.photobiz.com for many updates, tips and tricks, you name it, everything's there. So some things you can take a look at is we got 4 brand new templates that are available. So hey, if you're thinking about a website refresh, and today we're looking at website reviews, today might be the day where you actually get some insights. So take a look at those. We have 4 new templates that you can take a look at, such as Elsa, Carol, Andy, and Miles. Some great looking websites, different designs, different looks, very attractive, different layouts. I was very excited. I got someone on this one yesterday. They love the way it has earthy tones. So if there's something that you're interested in, those are all there and available for you to take a look at anytime. So let's see. Let's dive on in and take a look at our first website for today. So we have Swartz Portraits. I believe we've looked at his website before, so update since then. Using the dark tone. It's fitting with his style of photography. I think it looks good. Yeah. I think the same recommendation time was, we're using so much heavy darkness. Like when we get to these segments here where it kind of goes in these two segments, that's where you could like flip it just a little bit so it breaks up the page from all the darkness and have this on white and then have this text black and then this as the same way, just to kind of break up the monotony of all the same colors. I think that would go really well there. And that's all. Some other things you could do is you have the black cards. You could make them white cards if you wanted to, just to also punch out and give that some definition and depth to the page. Or you could even utilize this red as well. Yeah, I think that was my biggest recommendation last time with some little changes like that. But let's jump into another page. But other than that, else, if anything, you might even want to think about like scaling back in some sense, some areas. We have 2 videos. Maybe you only need 1 specifically. I think this is really great, but maybe this is dedicated high school senior portrait page. It might look better just on that page itself, but we'll see. Let's jump over to our about page. Got a nice headshot, nice little indentia, who you are, types of styles, accolades and things like that, where locations you've been from, accreditations. Really nice. Solid about page. I love it. No notes. Contact page. Really solid. Like the way it's dressed this way. I love the white. Again, this looks really nice. Let's jump over to your high school senior portraits page. Now with this ghost button, you got to be careful of some of these lighter tones because they can make you see. If anything, I might just change the opacity level, set it to like, I don't know, like 20% contrast maybe, and because that can get a little lost sometimes. Love this little breakup here, little hearts. Yeah, using more of that red. You can see just adding a little bit more color on your pages is really going a long way. It looks really good. Like these little meat sections. If anything, I might want to change. It goes to the scale and blur. I think just scaling's all you need because I want to look at the photo when I roll over it, and this blurs it out. If there was text overlaying it, then probably that way it kind of blurs. But with that, I just want to see the photo closer. This might be also a section where you could like divide it here, and then this is on white, just so it feels like a then back down to the darker tones like this. Nice little bit of red there. I mean, these pages are very thorough. I think it's really incredible what you got going on these pages. You're kind of telling the story and you're showcasing a little bit of the photography at the same time, so that looks really good. If anything, if you wanted to, you could change this to like the clickable slideshow option instead of the scroll, just to keep the page a little bit shorter in length, since you got something really sharp, very clean looking. Mostly just beware of that ghost button, and maybe just break this section up a little bit with the white background. And then with this, let's change it to just a scale blur. All right, let's jump over to the influencer team page. All right. Oh, okay. Dansby, did you submit your website? Please let me know. If not, okay, let's take a look at this influencer page. Very strong, nice bold starts. So this is where I was thinking last time that this might be better if it was more truncated instead of it flushed, just making it a little bit more inside, because it's so big, it feels larger than anything else on the page, especially once we get to this section. Yeah, compared to our other previous pages. Like, I love how this stuff looks. Now you're getting some font changes here. That might be something that you might want to look into, because compared to everything else, you kind of use out, and then all of a sudden now we're getting into serif font types, and then back to sans serifs. Very cool. Love that. Love these buttons that you've created. Looks really nice and clean. And then down in here, which is like the packages and stuff, again, kind of emulate what you were doing with the high school seniors, and with that note of put. I think that would go well, because I love how nice and tight this is. When it gets a little large on the page, I'm kind of like stunned with choice, if that makes sense. So they might just look better. It's a little bit tighter and smaller. Okay. Let's jump over to our student educational travel. Looks pretty good. Great information. I want to go on these trips. So, I mean, very straight to the point, details about upcoming events that you have, ways for people to contact about information, nice call to actions, enrolling opportunities when they click over, takes them over to probably some type of, yeah, enrollment section, so that looks good. So really great, highly detailed. This is really awesome. Great page, really strong. All right, let's see what client education is. Certification, breaking down your professionalism, artistry. This is a very attractive page. You see how you have this white strip through it? Ooh, it just breaks up that page. Those little pops of color really break up the page information really well. These are strong pages, Ty. So think about that for the rest of your design. Ways you can implement just a little bit of contrast to the page. It really breaks up the information, makes it much more digestible. Love that. That looks great. looks good. Again, just see how you can implement some of that color in these spots, those backdrops. I think that's the only thing really missing from this page. There's a lot of similar aspects. I love it when you break it up with stuff like that, but like if we had just a touch of color here and there, it would make certain sections that might feel like too run on feel more like a contained idea, if that makes sense. But other than that, great content. A nice change of pace down the line like that. See right here, these two sections here could be on that white, and that would look really sharp, and then go back into what you were doing previously. Could be on that white or red color. This could be also on a color background. Just little things like that. Looks good, great pictures. Nice down the line. Again, I could really like this section might pop out if it was on the white. Then back to the black. Yeah, stuff like that. Check out your resources. Kai is constantly updating, so that's good. Let's check out one of these. Great bit of information, details. Man, I want a milkshake. No, that looks good. Just for yourself, hashtags don't really work on blogging, so you don't really need them if you want, unless you want to drop them. Media stuff, but you don't really need them for your blogs. Great, highly detailed page. Something you could do, stuff with some images occasionally. Okay, so like you could have like first 3 beats, picture, 3 beats, picture, 3 beats, picture. Then you can get to your big crawl. Another picture somewhere, you know, just to break up the monotony of the wall of text. People have trouble reading in general, so keeping them entertained is what you do. So a visual component always helps. Like this is really nice. Looks really good. And this is just your casual portfolio. Looks good. Lovely work. Simplify it, right? Got some images down on this page, so take a look at that. I'm guessing these are like just new, different. I'm guessing resources from, yeah, from other locations. So yeah, it looks great. Just be mindful of that. Photos can die, especially if they're linked from somewhere else. So just take, okay. All right, private policy, Adobe Education. Maybe again, not flushed, turned on, might look really nice for these sections. And then a bit of color when possible. Quick video. just a little bit of color. I think really that's all I'm gonna point out as biggest thing I would do, Ty, for you is just punch it up a little bit here and there with some color swashes. Uh, when you use them, they're effective. So that's the only thing I'm going to recommend is adding more of that one there, and that will help with some of the pace of the page, so it doesn't feel uh, overly long, if that makes sense, because there's so much dense content. Because you got content for days, more than most people even have, which kudos to you. So that's great. But now let's just make the page a little bit, a little bit more contrasted here and there. That helps with engagement. People eyes get tired, but when they see something new, they immediately re-engage with that stuff. So ways you can do that is just kind of going through the page and be like, ooh, okay, this feels a little too dark for a while. What can I do to spice up this page? So mostly it's just adding a white background and flip-flopping the contrast and stuff. So think about that for your page, and I think that would go a long way. All right, let's jump over to our next website. All right, travel and portrait photography. Borgren photo.net. We need a logo first and foremost because I didn't know where I was at. Take a look at, we'll see what we got going on. Through here, Laughing Planet, journeys.org. So I'm guessing this is a little bit of a mixture of, we have this. Click here, does this take me to a completely new website? It does. Okay, so we have two websites, or at least a single one. So for this one, I think structurally we want to be a little bit more in line. We have some great information here at the top. Let's take a look around, show off your photos, communications, that would be good. We have some rollover effects. Definitely want to make sure that this is more visible because it kind of looks, there's no contrast to it. You don't need that rollover effect unless you want to keep it on there. If you're looking to add information like that, that's perfect. Just make sure that the text is visible. This is good. You can talk about upcoming events. I would do something like that. A little bit of information here, or have the photo stack on top would be better here. And that looks pretty good. Other than that, it's just little small tweaks, little tiny tweaks, mostly contrast. Let's take a look at the photos page. Cool little portfolio style, little information. We only have 2 photos down here. Definitely recommend adding a cross if that's something that you're interested in doing. And then I would have this section be all in green so it feels connected to this green line here. I'm guessing there's some type of form or something supposed to display here. Right now, nothing is. So be aware of that. Either that or remove the page. I'm guessing it's supposed to be a contact form. Let's take a look at this. We have double the same, so just remove one of those. Okay, so very short, straight to the point. I think that looks fine. I definitely would remove petition. You don't need that. Other things you could do is you have some details down here. Add a little bit more details about where you're located at and stuff like that. I think that could be helpful for people that are traveling or anything like that when it comes to your photography packages that you have. Let's check out your war photojournalism. Okay, so it looks like it's mostly going to be photos right here. Some really harrowing stuff. Yeah, there's a huge gap down here. The only thing I would do is if you want to go in depth about your journalism and how you effectively worked in that space for a while, capturing these moments through war-torn countries and stuff like that. I think that would be very viable for you. and it will just give some context to all of this. I think that's the thing. You want to make sure that the audience or the people looking at the contents and the photographs that you've taken, you give us a little contextual, uh, uh, you know, historical context behind it, so we understand what's happening in the photographs above. All right, we have some Guatemala details. We have what I call icicling, and what that means is you upload one photo, and it's going to give us one long one because you set it up to where it's like that. I would turn on text wrapping, and what that'll do is once it gets to like here, the text will wrap down, and then it'll fill out like a normal page. That'll make this information a little bit more digestible and easier to read. When I click on the links, they take me to, so be aware of that. Okay. All right, let's jump over to okay. Interesting story stuff happening here. Again, add some context to this information. Tell us what this story is. I mean, the visuals are very interesting. I just want to know more at the end of the day. Same thing with this. I want to know more of these stories. Yeah, I think these magazine stories, I want you to put some context behind them so I can get drawn into the images that you're putting here. And then this goes to the next website. So, okay, so yeah, there's some really cool stuff going on in here. I think the biggest thing is making sure that everything kind of works together. Everything kind of feels a little bit hodgepodged, a little bit where it's like a little bit of something here, a little bit of something there. Let's give it a little bit more structure. I think at the end of the day is what I'm looking for to help give context to the work that you have. There's some pages on the war journalism page. There's a huge section of blank. Uh, Nothing happening below the photographs. I would love to have some written context behind it. And just the same thing with your magazine stories. I want to know the stories and how you came across them, and put it together for us so we understand the context within the images themselves. That'd be the biggest thing that I recommend. But if you need any help with that, we do have coaching services, and we also pages as we go. But if you want to do it more yourself, you can always reach out to our support team and they can help you out with that as well. Okay. Very cool stuff. I just want to give it a little bit more structure. All right. Up next is Bach Photography. Now, 3 divisions to their business. So if I click like the right, and it does the same thing with this as well. Kind of takes me to like this hubs involved for different aspects to their business. So very cool, like how they structured it, so you don't kind of, no one kind of wanders around. So let's take a look at the first half. We drop right on into a portfolio of work. Simple enough. Things that you could do for the photography section here. You could add a little context at the bottom of the page. What style of photography, the who, what, when, and where. You general of giving us a lot more contextual idea for the customer and help out with SEO. Yeah, simple enough, straightforward. That's all you need to know, right? Galleries. Now everything is organized very cleanly. If I click on this one, it's going to drop me into the same thing, because I remember we've looked at your website before, and it's portfolio style. So every portfolio click is going to have the same aesthetic. Things that you could do to add to these pages, if you wanted them to be more SEO relevant, you could add your SEO details in the behind the scenes, but you could also then add like a paragraph below about, senior photography and your location. I think that just helps. So anything like in Michigan area, whatever you're putting out there, that way when people are searching for senior photography in those areas, you will appear right away. And that goes across the board for wedding engagements as well. Yeah, all these gallery types. You have such a robust amount of content. Much words are needed to make these pages a little bit more effective. About 350 words is what we usually see. So that's all you need to really concern yourself with, okay? I want this little, was that special offers? Yeah, there's two special offers. Are they the same? There's two different special offer pages. You gotta let me know which one is. So I see this special offer page. It's kind of just words on the page talking about pricing and stuff like that. How is this different from this one? They look very familiar. So you might have two special offer pages, one that just kind of stands out for all. Specials on this page cannot be kind of other special offers. So just kind of, let me know if these two are different from one another, because it's hard to tell, because, this one does have a different palette. Pricing looks good, looks good. If anything, bold the sections with the prices, like the session fees. Simple enough. Yep. This takes us to a third party. Very cool. Love the down the line aspect. I would change that. That's just too much icicling happening. They're very long sections. But that's an easy fix. The rest of the page is perfect. So just fix that section real quick. Then here at the bottom, I hope there's a contact. Put a contact information section here or a booking option. Okay, let's jump over to wedding albums. Those look cool. You can talk about how a little bit, like, you got a little bit of here, but you can talk about a little bit more in depth. You got all this space you can go into. Yeah, and then you got a gallery just dedicated to different ones. So that's cool. So I like that. Okay. Cap and gown. Very visually different. A little bit more prestige feeling you're trying to go for. I don't think you need the arrows, so I would maybe choose a different divider, like just a line or like a fancier line would be good to break up this information. And it still has old details from 2020, so just be aware of that if this is something that you still offer or not. Okay, let's jump over to the Big Time Sports homepage. You can see it's much more like, it's almost like an app, it feels like, right? So when we click here, it'll take us to information here. Very fast, effective information, talks about who you are, getting contact. You're able to see the galleries very quickly. Very straightforward. Very straightforward. Again, do to enhance those pages would be just like a paragraph at the bottom of them, just so when people are searching for sports photography in your location or anything of that nature, you will come up and search better. Yearbooks, yearbook design or anything like that. There's so many things. What will I do here? Again, give a little context. Carry a complete line of traditional favorites. Just go a little bit more into, that way. If you want to, I kind of like the down the line thing you were doing with your reviews over here for your products. And you can give details that way if you wanted to. It might make that page a little bit more, a little engaging that way. Because right now it feels like a gallery and I'm not quite sure what I should look at first. If that makes sense. custom graphics. Just a little bit more details, like you can create custom things. That looks good. Yeah, yeah, not too bad. And it goes to a third party. Yeah. Jump over to school pictures. Again, this is that different aspect where they can go, basically it's for them to go order products and stuff, right? Yeah, so they can see same recommendations basically on that side. I would rather it be feel more like an inventory, like kind of go down the line. Header portrait style just makes it a little difficult to figure out like which things that I want to look at. So just something to think about when it comes to that. Okay. Got information, all that stuff there. I mean, you got a lot of details, got a lot of pages. It's broken up very well. Again, mostly it's just coming down to just adding a little bit more here and there just to make it more structurally clean. Like, I love this. See, this is what I'm talking about with your products. Make it very, you know, I know which ones I'm looking for. Do that for the other pages with the products. Contact page, very simple. Some fun little portraiture. Yeah, simple enough. Same recommendations. You know, if you want to do something like fairy knights and wizard photography in your location, talking about how you do something different in your area, how you provide, you know, fantasy like elements to your portraiture that you can have, you know, give them so they can have on their walls that feels like traditional but also fun at the same time. Okay. And then this page. But yeah, you know, I think this is looking really good. You got the structure down. It's more about just tweaking things to make it a little bit more digestible. You know, organizing it where instead of things kind of being scattered out as products, more straight line. You already got everything else kind of straight line. It's just when it comes to those pages, everything else feels like mixed up in there. And I just want you to keep that organization that you have going on in those pages. So I definitely recommend doing that just to give it a little bit more palatability so people are able to say, oh, I want this product or I want this product faster versus, oh, what am I looking at? That's the only big thing. And then, of course, adding any extra SEO type context to your pages is always good. So the more you write, like at least a paragraph, that's the better you can on those pages because it gives them more context clues when search happens. All right, next we actually have a non-client who want to have their website reviewed. So let's see what was submitted this week. So Christopher Tajian Photography. Great looking photographs. Nice looking layouts. Which is good. A lot of animations. Some good, some unnecessary. That's a cool one. And a lot of embellishments. So when I'm looking at this page, this is a great welcoming page. Invites people in, get straight to the point. There's a lot of scripted type fonts. Be careful of that, especially in long context. The shorter they are, the better. So like this one that says experience timeless moments, that looks really clean. It's easy to read. But when it starts to get a little bit longer like this, people don't write in cursive anymore. They're saying like the next generation might be the last one that ever uses it. So people are starting to look at calligraphy styling and stuff like that as difficult to read. So just be aware of that. I've noticed it myself with writing some things. People are just like, well, I don't know what that word is. I'm like, no, that's just easy. But when it gets a little bit longer, it can be a little bit difficult to understand. Realized that this was the navigate bar. Even though it says navigate, it threw me off because it doesn't appear here till you attaches to the screen, sticks there. So for the longest time I thought it was like a strange pop-up or something that I wasn't even noticing for a while. So just something to be aware of, that this might not be noticeable to some people. So when you click on it, it does a really cool effect. That's neat. And then we'll jump over to the About page. There's a lot on these pages, so it's got to go through a lot. This page seems pretty good in standards. It's kind of a little bit of how the home page is, straight to the point. Got this nice effect here. Who you are, really nice. You know, no qualms about it. Looks really nice, straight to the point. Nice use of color, transitions. Yeah, these work pretty good. I think that's strange that it turns red, especially since I haven't really seen any red on your website. It would be better if it was that gold tone. Just for thoughts. All right, let's jump over to wedding. So there's a lot of like, let's get started, let's get started, let's get started right away, versus like showing me. Like I see these look awesome. I want to see a little bit more of that. Then let's talk, because we're gonna get, because I want to see this section. I want to get there. I want to flip flop these sections a little bit, because then we're gonna get into the meat potatoes anyway, about like everything that you offer and things like that, at the cost and things like that, and that looks good. You know, one latest inspiration, so I don't know if this is the only blog post you have for weddings, but I definitely would like it to fill out or have this centered. Love that section. Yeah, that looks good. All right, let's jump over to portraits. Okay. Expectations. This page. So the way this mapped out actually works really well. Again, it just seems like there's only one dedicated article, so it just kind of hangs out. So this page works better because it's shorter, so getting to these notes then straight into these notes makes more sense versus the other pages where it's like fast where you're still kind of leading. So just be aware that this page I think is more effective in terms of like showcasing and getting to the point of your sales funnel. Let's check out this one. Yep, this one works better too. So far, just the wedding one I think needs a little tweak. It's mostly just flip-flopping stuff. Again, just a single item, so it just feels lonely. Let's jump over to engagements. Straight to the point. You don't have any latest sessions, so this place feels kind of just empty. Definitely would remove that till you have something. Let's check out blog. So those are the only articles you have. That's why. Yeah, I think that's fine. For what it is for now. Once you get a beefier blog, you probably want to change the layout of this just to make it a little bit more, less of a, like, these are the three I only have. And I know that these are for lead options and getting people excited about your work, and the content's written there really well. I definitely would, if you have the ability to on your builder, put a button at the bottom for contacting purposes, and put it like kind of anywhere in between here. Like you can put one right, here. You're ready for your headshot, and then get into the rest. Kind of make it where it's at least doing more on the lead side. So Christopher, I think your website's really nice. Got some nice touches and embellishments. It can have a little slow, like the menu system that's a little slow. Like I want to get to where I want to go fast. It's cool looking, but it slows down the user experience at the end of the day. These elements are really cool. I want more of these blogs if you get them. The navigation, I was lost. Every time I forget it, that I can click on this thing. Um, your about page is really solid. Um, yeah. So I think you got some really cool things. I think there's just some little tweaks you can make here and there to really punch up the website. And then go back to the home page. I think this page is really solid for what you needed to do. I love how these line up. So if you were able to do something like that with the other ones, but it requires you having more blog content basically at the end of the day. But other than that, it's looking really strong. I think it looks really good. And hey, if you ever make any changes or anything like that, or need questions, send it back over. We'll take a look at it. All right, let's take a look at our last website for today, which is valleytphotography.com. The biggest thing I'm going to notice right here is we have too much brown on brown. It's hard to read. Makes it very difficult to read. Great looking photos though. I think these look awesome. Some context, I would want a little bit more. This is just like 2 sentences, but give us a full paragraph. If you need to, lean into our AI and say, hey, I wrote this. Can you embellish on this section a little bit more? Make it friendly, warm, and inviting for this customer type. So definitely would do that structurally. But this is good. The structure's there. It's just the words and the colors are difficult. Let's jump over to here. Again, colors are difficult to really read. You need a little bit higher contrast on these pages from the background. Like boom, you see how this really sticks out? Because the brown and white are complete opposites, but these are so close that it makes it difficult. Like even with your logo, this green and this background brown are so close to one another that they almost there's no contrast, so it makes it difficult to read this totally. Okay, same thing here. Love the contrast there. I want this section to be white. Nice contrast there. I want this section to be white. I want these sections to be clickable and white as well. So when I click them, yeah, because it's going to be difficult to see. So right now, the biggest thing I think is just some color changes, which you can make those quickly with the back of the on the global settings. Let's check out your events. Oh, there's a private for the customers. Let's check out a gallery. Straightforward. Look at that high contrast just there. Need more of that type of brown if you can utilize it. Simple enough, simple gallery. That looks really nice. Pay session fee, takes them to a place to pick a package and pay for it. Easy enough. Very cool. I like how you organize that. That's really nice. Let's see. Checklist. It's a little PDF. Okay. Very cool. All those galleries are... The biggest thing for that is just adding like a paragraph of information on those pages. That would help with people looking for you and searching for your style of photography in their area. For this section, this gallery, make professional headshots, all caps to match everything else. Okay, we already looked at that. We already looked at the checklist. Same thing for the boys. Okay. See your questionnaire. Fill that out. Make this a little bit more contrast, please. And then you have an extra checkbox down here you might want to remove. Okay. That looks fine though otherwise. Let's check out the contact me page. Straightforward. Easy enough. Check out the store. This goes to that page. It has everything that people can purchase package-wise. That looks awesome. Love how you set this up. Looks really cool. Pinterest, clothing ideas. So this takes me off site to your Pinterest. So your mood boards and stuff. Okay. You can always create your own mood boards as well, just utilizing the client galleries function. So you can just create your own. So, looking at your website, I think there's some really cool ideas. Uh, I think they're some really well organized. The only thing that's holding it back is the actual color itself. I think I would make that a little bit more contrasted, and it might be as simple as making the background white. I know that green and brown seem to be the color choice that you want to, but you can always tweak the global settings and make just that background, or make the font, the main site color font, like a darker tone. Anything you can do to punch it out is going to really help these pages, because you got great looking work, you got really organized pages. Now we just need to clean it up on that side, and then of course a couple little things like the professional headshots and stuff like that. And for the galleries, adding a little bit more context to those pages with words, descriptions, who, what, when, and where, and why about you, and that way it's good for search. All right. I think that's it for today. We got to look at some really cool looking websites, some things that I recommend, mostly minor tweaks on everyone's websites, not a huge deal. Again, if you need help, you can always live chat with our team. Call us anytime as well. We're available to assist you. You'll see this icon when you're logged in. You click here, you'll be able to talk to our team that's available. Ask any question you want, message them when you want to as well. If you want to look over more tips and tricks, you can always check out our blog.photobiz.com. You can see we have a lot of great new features and things like that out, and we just released 4 new templates and 4 new landing pages for specific page types. Maybe you want to create a page that's like a styling guide or a posing guide, or want this to be your starting point. You can create an entire page like this right now. It's already ready for you to choose and select from. Same thing with the wedding page. Beautiful, gorgeous looking layouts already ready for you to modify for your own colors and words on your own. And same thing with this one. Maybe you're doing mini sessions, you can set it up, have it prepped, and have a scheduled event right away. So you got a lot of cool new stuff there. Check out our what's new and see what's coming out next month. That'll be coming out very soon. Got a lot of great new releases this year. I'm just stunned with all the advancements that we've made. Definitely check it out when you get a chance. If you need any help, you can also go to our education.photobiz.com. Here, you'll see that we have options for upcoming events, on-demand videos, and coaching services. Coaching services last for about an hour, and in that time period, you get a lot done. I promise you. You can get like the entire website rebuilt within that hour or refreshed in that time period. For $150, it's totally worth it for your business if you need design assistant, e-commerce, client gallery setup, marketing, forms and contracts, SEO, or just getting started in general. We'll be able to assist you and get you going right away. All right, that's it for today. I want to thank you all for joining me. Again, if you have any questions or comments, or want to have your website seen, let us know in the comment section. But also in the description, you can fill out the form there and have your website. You do not have to be a client. Hey, we got to look at a non-client website today, and hey, even they got some things that could be improved upon. So don't worry, there is no perfect system out there. We're all working hard together because we want to be, stay busy, stay profitable at the end of the day. So everyone needs help, and that's what I love.